Good morning, students. Today we will start with a new chapter, The Human Eye and the Colorful World. In this chapter, till page number 190, the syllabus has been deleted. So today we will start with the topic refraction of light through a prism. So what is a prism? It is a transparent medium bounded by at least two non-parallel surfaces. So here we are taking a triangular prism. What do you find here? That a triangular prism has two triangular bases and three rectangular lateral surfaces. And the angle between its two lateral faces is called the angle of prism, which is denoted by A. Now let us do an activity to study the refraction of light through a triangular prism. Now let us see this activity. Now let us take a triangular prism ABC. Let us take this ABC as a glass prism and the angle of prism as this A. Now when incident ray PE strikes the face AB of the glass prism, it is refracted along EF. So EF is the refracted ray. Now the refracted ray EF suffers refraction when it strikes the face AC. After refraction, it emerges out of the glass prism and travels along FS. So this FS is the emergent ray. The ray FS which is called the emergent ray when produced backward. It intersects with the incident ray at point G. And the angle between the incident ray and the emergent ray is called angle of deviation. And this angle of, so what is angle of deviation? It is the angle at which the emergent ray when produced backward makes with the incident ray when produced forward. It depends upon the angle of prism, angle of incidence and angle of emergence. So angle of deviation is given by the formula angle A plus angle D equals to angle I plus angle E, where angle A is the angle of prism, angle D is the angle of deviation, angle I is the angle of incidence and angle E is the angle of emergence. Now the peculiar shape of the prism makes the emergent ray bend at an angle to the direction of the incident ray. The next topic which we will be studying is dispersion of white light by a glass prism. Now another topic is dispersion of white light by a glass prism. Now you must have seen that when white light passes through a glass prism, we get a band of 7 colors. For this, let us do an activity. Take a thick sheet of cardboard and make a small hole. Now allow sunlight to fall on the narrow slit. Now take a glass prism and allow the light from the slit to fall on one of its faces. Now turn the prism slowly until the light that comes out of it appears on a nearby screen. What do you observe? You will observe that a band of 7 colors, a beautiful band of 7 colors appear on the screen. And what are the 7 colors formed? Those are violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. You must have remembered the Vibgyor. Okay. And the band of these 7 colors is called the spectrum of white light. Now, then what is dispersion? The splitting of white light into its 7 component colors is called dispersion. Now, why do we get these colors? How do we get these bands of 7 colors? Actually, what happens? Different colors of light bend through different angles with respect to the incident ray as they pass through the prism. Why this happens? Because every color has its own wavelength and the angle with which it bends depends on the wavelength of the color. In this case, red has the maximum wavelength and violet has the minimum wavelength. And you know, wavelength is directly proportional to the velocity and inversely proportional to the deviation. So red has a maximum wavelength, so least deviation. So red light bends the least, while the violet has the minimum wavelength and hence the maximum deviation. So violet bends the most. Thus all the rays of each color emerge out along different paths and become distinct. Now let us study about recombination of spectrum of white light. What happened? Isaac Newton was the first person to use a glass prism to obtain the spectrum of sunlight. What he did, he took a glass prism and allowed the light, white light, to pass through it, to fall on it. So when the white light fall on the white prism, it came out after refraction as a band of 7 colors. He tried this several times to get some other colors, but he could not get any more colors. So what he did, he placed another second identical prism in an inverted position with respect to the first. And now what he did, he allowed all the 7 colors to pass through this second prism, which was kept in an inverted position. What he found that a beam of white light was emerging from the other side of the second prism. This observation gave Newton the idea that sunlight is made up of 7 colors. So children, this is an important activity which you should write in your copy. The recombination of the spectrum of white light. For this you write down all this, the whole paragraph. Now you all must have seen a rainbow in the sky. So this is a natural phenomena which appears due to the dispersion of light. What happens? If after rainfall, some water droplets remain behind in the atmosphere. And these water droplets, which is present in the atmosphere, they act like a small prism. So when the sunlight passes through these water droplets, refraction is taking place here. When the refraction is taking place here, it enters into the glass prism. It bends towards the glass prism. Okay. Now here what is happening? This is acting as a prism. So here internal reflection is taking place. After internal reflection, again here refraction takes place and the white light comes out of the water droplets as a band of 7 colors. So in this way, the rainbow is formed due to the presence of raindrops present in the atmosphere. So the question may come that what are the various phenomena involved in the rainbow formation? Then your answer will be refraction, dispersion of light and internal reflection. Now you can also see a rainbow on a sunny day when you look at the sky through a waterfall or through a water fountain with the sun behind you. Other topic which we will be studying now is atmospheric refraction. Now what happens? The Earth's atmosphere is not uniform. As you all know that the Earth's atmosphere is made up of different layers of atmosphere. And as we go up from the Earth, the density of the air goes on decreasing. And as we go up, the density of the air or the air becomes lighter and lighter. So the Earth's atmosphere is not uniform throughout. Its density goes on changing as we go up or move down. When the light rays passes through the Earth's atmosphere, they undergo refraction at every stage. So this refraction of light, which is caused by the layers of atmosphere, is called atmospheric refraction. For this you can understand by an example that when you make a fire, what do you find? That the air just above the fire becomes hot. Then the air further up. The hotter air is lighter, as you all know that hotter air is lighter than the cooler air and has a refractive index less than that of the cooler air. So the physical conditions of the refractive medium. So what is the refracting medium here? Air. are not stationary. So you will find that objects above the hotter air, they wave, they give a wavering position, means they are just shaking, isn't it? So it fluctuates. This wavering is an effect of atmospheric refraction. There are two, here we will be studying about two phenomena which is based on atmospheric refraction. First is twinkling of stars and another is advanced sunrise and delayed sunset. Now what is twinkling of stars? It is due to the atmospheric refraction of starlight. Now what happens when the starlight enters the Earth's atmosphere? It undergoes refraction due to varying optical densities of air at various altitudes. Just now I told you that as we go up or from the Earth towards on the upper side, there is a change in the density of the air. So the continuously changing atmosphere refracts the light by different amounts. In this way, the starlight reaching our eyes increases and decreases continuously, and the sky appears to twinkle at night. Now what happens? The star appears slightly higher than its actual position when viewed near the horizon. And this apparent position of star is not stationary, but it keeps on changing slightly. Why? Because the physical condition of the Earth's atmosphere is also not stationary. Now since the stars are very far away from us, so the ray of light is coming through various layers of atmosphere, and hence refraction is taking place at each stage. As a result, the star appears to fluctuate or twinkle at night. Now the question is, why don't the planets twinkle? Why this happens? Because the planets are much closer to the Earth, and because the distance of the planets from the Earth is less, therefore the atmospheric refraction which is taking place is not very significant, or the small variation in the brightness of the planets due to atmospheric refraction is not detected. Hence, planets do not twinkle. Next topic is advanced sunrise and delayed sunset. Now what happens? The sun is visible to us about 2 minutes before the actual sunrise and 2 minutes after the actual sunset because of atmospheric refraction. If we say actual sunrise and actual sunset, what does it mean? It means that we know that sun rises from the horizon and sun sets in the horizon. So when the sun rises, when the sun is going to rise above the horizon, due to atmospheric pressure, we are able to see the sunlight. Okay, due to atmospheric refraction, we are able to see the sunrise 2 minutes before the actual sunrise. In the same way, when the sun sets, we are able to see the sunlight even 2 minutes after the sunset because of atmospheric refraction. So what happens? We gain actually 4 minutes of additional sunlight every day because of atmospheric refraction. Next topic is scattering of light. Now you all have seen the various phenomena in this optical or the natural phenomena, like the blue color of the sky, the color of water in deep sea, the reddening of the sun at sunrise and sunset, then the color of the sky as blue, then the color of sky at noon as white. What is the phenomena which is responsible for all this? This is the scattering of light. So what do you understand by scattering? Scattering means the reflection of light from an object in all directions, means it is getting scattered away. So scattering is reflection of light from an object in all directions. Now for scattering of light, the particles must be present in the atmosphere. So for this, let us understand Tyndall effect. Now what is Tyndall effect? We all know that Earth's atmosphere is a mixture of minute particles. And what are these particles? In an Earth's atmosphere, we know that there are particles like smoke, water droplets, suspended particles of dust and molecules of air. So when a beam of light passes or strikes these particles, they reflect the light, and we are able to see the things around us, or the path of the beam becomes visible. You must have seen when a light passes through a narrow beam, when a narrow beam of sunlight passes through your ventilator of the room, you will find that, what do you find? That some colloidal particles or minute particles are colliding against each other. So this phenomenon, which is seen when a fine beam of sunlight enters a smoke-filled room through a small hole, is known as Tyndall effect. So the phenomenon of scattering of light by the colloidal particles gives rise to Tyndall effect. It can be observed when sunlight passes through a canopy of a dense forest also. So what is the colloidal particle here which is scattering light in case of dense forest? It is the tiny water droplets in the mist. So now the color of the scattered light depends upon the size of the scattering particles. Just now I told you that the wavelength of light is directly proportional to the deviation, is directly proportional to the speed of the light, and inversely proportional to the velocity, or the deviation with which the color bends. So very fine particles or small particles scatter lights of smaller wavelengths like blue, violet, indigo, and so on. Whereas particles of larger size scatter light of longer wavelengths like red, yellow, orange, etc. Now the question is, why is the color of the clear sky blue? This is because during the daytime, the size of the particles in the atmosphere is smaller than the wavelength of the visible light. So they scatter lights of shorter wavelengths. And what are the lights of shorter wavelengths? Blue, violet, indigo, isn't it? So they scattered the blue light and enters our eyes. Now the red light has a wavelength of about 1.8 times greater than blue light. Means it is about approximately double the wavelength of the blue light. So when sunlight passes through the atmosphere, the fine particles in air scatter the blue color strongly than the red. Now if the question is, if the earth had no atmosphere, then there would not have been scattering. There would not have been any scattering, because if there would have been no atmosphere, no colloidal particles or the smaller particles would have been present, and hence if the particles are not present in the atmosphere, what would scatter the light? So in that case, what would happen? The sky would have looked dark. So the sky appears dark to passengers flying at very high altitudes or to the astronauts, okay, as scattering is not taking place at that place. Now you might have observed that the danger signal lights are red in color. Why? Because red color is the color of very high wavelength, and hence its bending or deviation is the least. Means it scatters the light least, and hence it can be seen by even in this during the fog or smoke. Okay. Next is, why is the color of the sun at sunrise and sunset? What is the color of the sun at sunrise and sunset? At the time of sunrise or sunset, the position of the sun is very far away from us. So the light travels longer distance through the atmosphere of the earth before reaching our eyes. So scattering of blue light is more than the scattering of red light. As a result of this, red light reaches our eyes than any other color. And hence at sunset and sunrise, the sky appears red. Whereas during noontime, what happens? The sun is overhead, and so it is the minimum distance between the observer and the sun. And so sunlight has to travel less distance through the earth's atmosphere to reach our eyes. So in this case, the scattering of almost all colors is very small, and hence all the 7 colors they mix up and the sun appears white. Now this can be understood by an activity. Now let us see this activity 11.3. Now see the figure 11.11. Here you see, place a strong source S of white light at the focus of a converging lens. So this is L1 and L2 are two converging lenses which we have taken. So put a source of light at the focus of converging lens. Now we know that converging lens, when you put source light at the focus, we get a parallel beam of light. Now allow the light of this parallel beam of light to pass through a transparent glass tank, which is denoted by T, containing clear water. Now allow the beam of light to pass through a circular hole made in a cardboard. This is the C is the circular hole. Now obtain a sharp image of this object or the image of the circular hole on a screen MN. So this is the screen which we have placed using a second converging lens L2. Now dissolve about 200 gram of, after this what you do, well, first you are taking the image of a clear water, and now you are putting 200 gram of sodium thiosulfate, which is known as hypo, in about 2 liter of clear water taken in the tank. Now add about 1 to 2 ml of concentrated sulfuric acid to the water. What will you observe? You will observe that this sulfur particles which we have taken, about 1 to 2 ml of concentrated sulfuric acid, they start precipitating in about 2 to 3 minutes. As the sulfur particles begin to form, you can observe the blue light from the 3 sides of the glass tank. The blue light starts appearing. This is due to the scattering of short wavelengths by minute colloidal sulfur particles. Now observe the color of the transmitted light from the 4th side of the glass tank facing the circular hole. From here you are finding the blue lights, which is because blue light scatters the most. Now observe the color of the transmitted light from the 4th side. What you will observe, that at first the orange red color comes and then bright crimson red colors appears on the screen. This activity demonstrates the scattering of light that helps us to understand the bluish color of the sky and the reddish appearance of the sun at the sunrise or the sunset. So children, for your syllabus is over. Go through the chapter, each and every line of this chapter, and write down the question and answer in your copy. Thank you.